Hey everybody, it's all about the racing. I'm Dave, and you're watching Barber Dave's Shaves and Such. Hey everybody, welcome to Sunday and another Barber Dave's Imaginarium. Well, you can get an idea what this one's going to be about. For those of you like, well, you know what? Before we get started, let's do some administrative stuff. Right down here, www.theshavingcadre.com. We'd certainly appreciate you come visit us. It's free to join, and we feel that we are the best shaving and gentlemanly forum on the interwebs. Also, right up here, Drinks and Days. Got a big announcement coming this Tuesday, so please join us at 6 p.m. Pacific. You can see us right here on Barber Dave Shaves and Such and over on Nurse Dave Shaving World, but that's going to be changing. And what are we going to be talking about this week? Watches. That's right, wristwatches. All about the fun stuff that goes along with that crazy habit, or hobby, I should say. Not a habit. Well, I guess it could be a habit, but it's not a habit. Anyways, so what's today's shave about? I'm very excited, and if you're like me, and I hope that you are, anything that has wings, an engine, tires, and goes fast is really important. That's right, we're talking about racing. Boogity, boogity, boogity. And that includes Formula One, NASCAR, MotoGP, air racing, you name it. Well, today I thought I'd do something for the Imaginarium. So here's what I want you to imagine. Let us say that you are standing or sitting in front of the Bellagio. And unfortunately, the trees are gone because there's going to be grandstands there. Why, do you ask? Because in November, Formula One is having a night race in Las Vegas, Nevada. And the straightaway, I believe, is going to be right down the strip. And it's going to blast by the Bellagio at 220 miles an hour. So, close your eyes, think about that, and listen to this, and this is what you'll be hearing. Pretty cool, huh? So anyhow, so the shave for today, we're going to go over all the other stuff, but it's all racing related. And for our razor, and I'll go over the soaps and all that other stuff later, but the razor we're using was one of the very first custom razors that I have. It was made by a gentleman that's no longer making razors, but just a wonderful guy. I've got 4 of his razors, I believe, and it's Jerry Stark, and it's the Jerry Stark Ferrari concept. Now, this has got red for the Ferrari. It's got real carbon fiber. The spine detail is from a Ferrari concept car from a few years back, and this is a 7/8 chopper. This thing is a beast, and it has been stropped 30 and 60. So I hope everybody's having a nice Sunday. We're looking forward to our Zoom call. And see, so if you're a member of the TSC, you can be part of our Zoom calls. Well, today's a special one because our good buddy Steven, a.k.a. Heisai, is going to be hosting a bingo game live. So that'll be fun, too. So anyhow, now also part of Ferrari, any type of fan of Ferrari, whether it be racing or whether it be the cars themselves, are called the Tifosi, and they are rabid fans. We have rabid fans for sports teams and stuff like that, but the Tifosi, as far as racing, are just absolutely nuts. For those of you that are into golf, I can't remember what hole it is up at the Phoenix Open where people just go absolutely crazy. That's pretty much the Tifosi. They live, breathe, and eat Ferrari Scuderia. And I have a hard time because I've always followed Ferrari's racings from the days of Schumacher to Vettel. And Haas Racing came out in the U.S., and it's tough to break those bonds. So that's pretty much the Imaginarium for today. Got some good news and not so good news. I was hoping that this weekend was going to begin the shootout between the Blackland Osprey, which is their brand new adjustable razor, and the GOAT, or the Gillette Fat Boy. Unfortunately, due to the holiday tomorrow, I probably won't be getting the razor until Tuesday. So my plan is this, for those of you that are keeping track. I plan on shaving with the razor in multiple uses throughout the next week. Probably all my shaves on my work week will be with that razor to kind of take it through its paces. And the Osprey is really important to me, and I'll get into that next week. And then next weekend, we'll do the shootout between the two razors to see which one reigns supreme. I can tell you, and I have not held this razor in my hand, but if any of you have been watching some of the things from Sean at Blackland, it is an awesome looking razor, and it'll be a lot of fun to see how it works. Okay, let's go. Now, this razor is one of those razors that I spoke of, or that I speak of on a regular basis. That has a pretty dangerous point. And it's a Spanish point. So, and it's not muted. So when you're shaving in around your earlobes, you need to be careful to make sure that you have earlobes. So again, the situational awareness with this razor, especially being a 7/8, you really need to know where that point is. Not to mention that when you look at the spine of this thing, the spine is huge, which makes stropping and honing this thing a bear. I do not believe in taping a spine, because all my razors are users, and I think that taping the spine, and this is just my opinion, so don't beat me up on it, I just don't like the changes in the bevel when you tape the spine, because tape has a space, has a width, and this thing's already wide enough. This thing's probably dang near a quarter of an inch wide at the spine, and that was to make sure it could have those decorative pieces. So, but it's a wonderful razor. It's just so big and wide that when you're holding it and you're trying to strop it, you have to take a lot more care. And especially with the thumb notch. And that thumb notch, basically the reason why it's so curvy is it's meant to show the curve at the Monza, I'm sorry, not Monza. Yeah, Monza curve before you go into the tunnel on one of the F1 tracks. So it's meant to, have that curve, and it's all racing related. So, and it's real tough to hang on to that while you're stropping. But a couple of the things on it that you really can't see on the film is that this razor also has the screws that go into the scales were custom machined to look like the wheels of an F1 car, which is kind of cool too. But that presents its own problem when you're trying to tighten up the scales, because I believe he used it's not quite a star bit, but it's a very, very small T type thing. And if you don't have that, it's kind of a bear to tighten. So the scales loosen up a little bit sometimes. But it's a great razor. 7/8 are really not in my wheelhouse, but they work pretty good. But this, even the width of the width of the scales is huge. This is a quarter hollow, so that's another thing you need to kind of be careful of, especially with that point. But like I've mentioned in a lot of my videos, there's a lot of guys that shave that use maybe only the first part of the toe and not much of the heel. I try to use, pardon me a minute. I try to use the whole razor. For a couple of reasons. One, it shows me the consistency of my honing. As well as it, I'm a firm believer that once you set the bevel, you don't have to reset the bevel unless you want to. I've never reset the bevel on this. I've just made, once I did the initial honing. Well, actually, Jerry did the initial honing, and then I touched it up. And I touch them up, especially when I don't use them that often. I don't need to touch them up that much. But I find this point works real well up around the nostrils too, kind of like a barber's notch. And it certainly helps when doing the fool's pass as well. As I said, the whole shave today is racing related and really Ferrari red related. I also want to thank everybody for all the comments on the Imaginarium. I really appreciate it. It's tough sometimes coming up with something new for 3 days in a row. So I do appreciate all the suggestions that you guys have given. And I appreciate all the comments that you've made as well. Because we try to keep it as interesting as possible. And I know that the winner of our 1,100 subscriber giveaway has received his items. And our next contest is at 1,200, so keep it up. Also, we have a virtual tip jar. And what that's for is not to make any money, per se. But that tip jar is so we can buy new products that you guys may want to see and so forth. And you'll see that underneath here somewhere, it'll say thanks. So please, if you so desire, please do that. And then also, make sure that you visit all the channels that are listed in the description section. They support this channel, and I try to support them as well. Okay, let's see how we did. See if we need any cleanup today. Which with the straights, I usually need a little bit right in the neck area because the angles are a little goofy. But other than that, very, very smooth shave. We'll see what the alum says here in a minute. Alrighty. Great shave. I have not shaved with this. I have to look through my shaves in my archives, but I'm not sure when the last time I shaved with this razor. It's still just wonderful. So again, for the razor, this is the Jerry Stark 7/8 Ferrari Concept razor. Just a fun razor. And Jerry made great razors. Okay, let's see what the alum says. A little bit of a bite, because that razor is so heavy that sometimes the touch of the razor, meaning how much pressure you use, sometimes can be a little off, and that happens sometimes. So we'll get the brush cleaned up and go over everything else that we used today. And actually, the brush that we used was actually the inspiration for the razor. I actually had the brush first. It has been re-knotted. It had a badger knot in it, and it didn't work very well for me. And so I put an Amax synthetic in it. But this brush is, again, the Ferrari Concept, and it's the Ferrari red, and then real carbon fiber wrapped, and then the tuxedo. This was made by a gentleman by the name of Matt DeRuiter, just a wonderful brush maker. And so forth. So let's rinse the alum. And we'll probably go ahead and use Thayer's Lemon today for our witch hazel, because lemon is Italiano. Let that dry down for a few seconds. The soap we use today actually comes in a brick, but I've repurposed an old Eucharist, the worst soap on the planet, item, and it's Panama Boelis. They're also the ones that made the aftershave today, which is another, again, racing related, and that's Boelis Panama Daytona. And this is kind of neat because this aftershave is in a spray. So it's kind of neat. You can actually spray it on your hands and just put it on that way, or you can just go crazy and spray it on everywhere. We're going to use kind of a neutral talc today, made by Yardley, and it's Yardley Gentleman, because we don't want to ruin the fragrance that we're going to be using. Just wonderful, and the powder just does that. And what we're going to be using for our EDT today is a fairly new offering from Penhaligon's. I think they're trying to apologize for getting rid of English Fern. Yeah, I know, I go over that all the time. And that's Sports Color Club, and this is actually an Eau de Parfum. This is not an EDT, and it's pretty powerful. And this brings back memories of the early days of racing. You know, the British racing green, and the British racers like Sterling Martin and Le Mans, where the British were very, very prevalent in that. So, okay, that's our shave for the day, guys. I certainly appreciate you joining us. Don't forget, again, to come see us at the Cadre, Drinks and Dave's, 6 p.m. Tomorrow's Imaginarium. I have no idea what we're going to do, but hopefully we'll get started on the Osprey shootout next weekend. So I'm Barber Dave. This has been Barber Dave Shaves and Such, and I hope everybody has a very blessed Sunday, and we'll see you again real soon. And let's get to 1,200, and I'll give something else away. Take care.